let's settle in, friends. So welcome to these few moments that we get to spend to start our day, to reset our day, whatever it is like for you. And so I'd invite you to close your eyes if that feels right. Maybe you just take your eyes away from the screen and just allow yourself to breathe in slow, deep, gentle breaths and release them in the same way, just slowly and deeply and gently. And settle into a rhythm here, just an ebb and a flow between the in and the out. And our focus today is this idea of consistency. Without going into too much of the Yoga Sutras and these texts that we have that help us to really understand this practice, there is one quite early in all of these Yoga Sutras, these sutras, these threads of lessons that we have, that says consistency matters. Your practice needs to be well attended, and it says for many days without interruption. So what does that mean? What is many days? What is without interruption? I know in our very contemporary, very logical minds, we want a number. And there's this old Zen kind of story about these two students that asked their master, their Zen master, teacher, how long do I need to meditate before I become enlightened? So even there in these spiritual teaching groups, the questions are being asked, how long is enough? How often is enough? How many minutes do I need to sit on my cushion? How many minutes do I need to pause with my eyes closed? How many times do I need to show up in a row before I start to feel something different? And the teachers always, back then and still today, point back to that Yoga Sutra that says your practice needs to be consistent. It needs to be attended to for many days without interruption. There's not a number. There's not a number, there's not an amount that we're striving toward. It is rather a practice of the present moment. We're not trying to show up and in 30 days have all of our anxiousness, all of our tension gone, but rather we're trying to create new habits so that when the stress of life comes, as it did even thousands of years ago when these teachings began, it was just a different kind of stress, but it was still stress. It was still challenge. When those things come, we go back and we say, I'm attending to my practice many, many days without interruption. I'm finding consistency of this showing up, of this effort of being still. And then I will tell you, and I think the ancient teachers would agree, that over time you're going to see a difference. I don't know what the time is, but I know that I feel it every day. I feel it in my nervous system. I feel it in how I respond to people's whose behavior is sometimes, the way I say it, just being knuckleheads. They just make choices that don't always jive with what I think or what I know to be right. They do things that inconvenience me. They do things that I could take as being harmful toward me, but rather this practice allows me to let all the knucklehead behavior, all the unkindness around me, not impact me. This practice, this showing up for many days without interruption, allows me to go through these challenges and not be changed. So that's what I will tell you is the impact that you are working toward if you need something to set your eyes on. But the most important thing is that you learn to be present. And then as you learn to be present, the worry about the future and the lamenting about the past get less and less. And you start to marvel with the breath coming in, and then you marvel at the breath going out. Consistency. Showing up many days without interruption. Changing how we see the world. And I think maybe even just as importantly, changing how the world impacts us. And so I wish you a day today that is grounded in the consistency of today's practice. Don't keep count. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't think about yesterday and the showing up then. Just be here and now. So take a slow, deep breath in. Be so grateful for the showing up. And then exhale, release, preparing yourself to return to whatever things you have on your schedule today. And as your eyes reopen and you reconnect, ready to return to the activity, just don't get so focused on the how much or the how many. Focus on the here and the now, the showing up that you've done today. And then the next time you show up, focus on that.